Good morning. Meeting is now called to order. Are there any items from the public? Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Any questions on the purchase order log? All right, have no internal budget revisions this week. We do have several change of status, not as many as the last meeting, but few. Hiring recommendation received from the Honorable Anthony Petrucci, County Clerk, for Cheryl Cook as the Deputy Clerk in Voters with an annual salary of $36,750. That's effective 7/27/26. Change of status received from the Honorable Michelle Shuppert, Circuit Clerk, for Amy Lilly, Deputy Clerk, with a completion of probationary period with an annual salary change from $39,500 to $42,805. That's effective 7/5/26. Letter of resignation received from Tim Zaya, Director of Community Corrections, for Shasta Orsini, Home Confinement Officer. That's effective 7/24/26. Letter of resignation received from the Honorable Michelle Shuppert, Circuit Clerk, for Megan Hitt, Deputy Clerk, effective 7/17/26. Letter of resignation received from the Honorable Rob Blair, Sheriff, for George Toledo, Deputy Sheriff, effective 7/6/26. The July 2nd meeting, everyone was present, so we can leave that in. As you can see in your read ahead, there is a request for a canceled check from the County Clerk's Finance Office, and also the resolution or requisition for the Inwood Park number 8. Had a chance to look over that. There is nothing this week from the Assessor's Office. Board and meeting reports. Mr. Boyd.
We had a roundhouse meeting this week. Not a lot going on right now, but the board did pass just agreed to grow a sunflower field on the south end of the property outside the gate. The seeds are donated by one of the Linton farms, and they're going to plant those and have a large sunflower field down there.
Good.
Birch Street side.
There you go.
Very good.
Brighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Very good. Commissioner Boyd, or Commissioner Hardy.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I had a planning commission meeting on Monday night. We had 5 or 6 public hearings. I've had a pretty big agenda, just moving the county business forward through the planning commission. Also on Tuesday night, they had a meeting at the Holiday Inn. Was that Tuesday? Yeah, so. Tuesday night attended a meeting at the Holiday Inn. All the people in Berkeley County that will be affected by the Valley Link transmission line received paperwork, and they had a meet and greet and an question and answer. A lot of information there about where that line is proposed to maybe go through. Was a nice turnout. There was probably 200 people there coming in to get questions answered. Hopefully their questions are answered. I'm not exactly sure where that project stands right now. I mean, I know it's the early phases of it, but they were definitely, Valley Link and First Energy was definitely out in force, trying to give as much information as they could. So we'll continue to monitor that and see how that project moves forward and see how that goes. And then yesterday I attended a ribbon cutting for Access Strategies, who opened an office in downtown Martinsburg at the Vandalia building. So it's been quite a busy week so far.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Whitaker.
I did not have any meetings to attend, but also attended the Valley Link meeting at the Holiday Inn for the proposed routes. It's a good meeting.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kellett.
The Valley Link meeting also I attended, and I was just unbelievably impressed by how much staff they had there from the energy folks. I mean, they were well represented, and they were very prepared for of course, this was like the 5th one I think they've had so far, and they've had several more later this week. while I was there, I did present their right-of-way people, their land acquisition people with information and all the legalities of, there's 3 routes that are proposed, and 2 of the routes that don't even go through Berkeley County, one does. And the one that is proposed to go farmland protected property of about, in Berkeley County, about 148 acres, and then another 15 acres in Jefferson County as part of that. So both the Berkeley and Jefferson farmland people approved this back in '07. And so I gave them all the deed copies, the legalities of it. I think in order to do that, they could do it, but it has to go through the court system to have it, make that happen. And made them aware of the paperwork, and I've got Anthony and Jeff looking into it from our perspective, so we know what to say that it's actually a matter of fact instead of just saying what we think we know, how that'll work, but it will take some court action if they decide to go through that. And my take was, I hope it's a detriment to keep it from coming through Berkeley County is what I'm hoping. So I wanted to thank all of you for attending the dedication of the Hoax Run Battlefield Park last Thursday after our meeting, last Thursday morning. I thought it was well attended. I thought Kevin Walker, y'all realize what a dynamic speaker he is. And I really, truly mean that. I hope this is the tip of the iceberg as far as us in Berkeley County investing in our, not only our park system, but restoring and recognizing more Civil War history in Berkeley County, which is full of it. And I hope you realize how big a deal this is for Berkeley County. It could be a huge thing for us in terms, you heard the young man say, in fact, that was Kevin's son that works for the Shenandoah Valley Battlefield Foundation. They've already had, since the middle of June, and this was July 2nd, last Thursday, they've already had over 1,000 visitors at that park. And it's just going to continue. And a lot of those are going to be historian, Civil War buffs from all over the United States visiting there while they're here looking at Sharpsburg and Harpers Ferry. So it's a really big deal. It's a wonderful thing, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it. I wanted to also say that if y'all are going to the Auditors Conference, it's August the 2nd through the 4th at Ogilvy. And it's a Sunday through Monday, Tuesday, leave on Tuesday, stay Sunday night. You need to let the girls know, Kirsten, if you're going or not, because they lock in the reduced room rates tomorrow. So if you're going to go, we need to know that by tomorrow. I remind you of that. And then I did want to give you an update on the CCA office. Susan Martino is the interim director in replace of Melanie, and they're doing a terrific job. I called down there on Friday, July the 2nd, which was a holiday, so a day off, and they were there working. But they're getting things straightened out financially, and we're going to move forward. And I think we're going to be better because of the situation we're going through right now. But the girls that are there, Susan, Nancy Butcher, and Megan James are all really quality people, and they'll do a good job for the association. So I want to assure you all that things are going in the right direction, and I think we're going to be fine. So I think that's it.
Thank you, sir. Also, on the Hoax Run, want to also thank Gary Gimble for his involvement and participation in that as well.
Probably the happiest man in Berkeley County that day, I'm telling you, because he's been working on that thing for years and years.
He has, and he's just so passionate.
I've attended, he does a monthly meeting, with the, but just about the battlefield down there, that battle. And I've attended several of them. I don't make it every month, but just really informative stuff. He knows that. And Steve French was there also, a friend of mine I went to school with my entire life. He taught at South Middle School, historian. He's written 4 books just on the Civil War history of Berkeley County alone, 4 different books he's written. So it's those folks are so pleased with this finally getting the attention that it deserves, and it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is, and thank you for your work on that, and also Matt Umstead.
Yes.
Matt, thank you for your
Matt.
work with that. It's just been a great project. When you think about how the land has, went through a couple different hands and finally ended up to be just a beautiful park that even Macy's contributed along with the Henry family, Panhandle Builders, the school system, Bruce Van White. It just, everybody came together and really made a nice product there. So
It's amazing
Really
what
nice.
we can do when we all pull together.
yes, sir, you're exactly right. Also attended the Valley Links at the Holiday Inn, in which they call those study routes, the 3 routes that they're studying. And here is the opportunity for the public to make their comments, to make change. This is your opportunity, because I do truly believe that they're willing to listen, and what they can do, I think that they will. So now's your time, if you're particularly affected by it, to make your comments known to them so that they can maybe adjust their route, or perhaps they'll choose another route, whether it be because of environmental issues or, whatever the reason may be. But now's the opportunity for the public to make their comments to the Valley Link folks. This week I was on WEPM radio talking about various things. The fire service was one of the things they wanted to speak about our new staffing and our new staffing levels, along with the Valley Link, along with the data centers, all the things of interest to the public. After that, I attended the Development Authority, where Jennifer remains busy with different opportunities, people looking here to bring their businesses here. At the request of the governor, the bell at the Berkeley County Courthouse was rang on the 4th of July at 12 o'clock, and the 13 tolls of the bell for the 13 original colonies. So glad to be able to do that. I do have a fire board meeting this evening, and along with John, I attended the opening of Access Strategies at Vandalia and Queen. So wish them great success there as well. Let's see, Commissioner Boyd, we do have a reappointment package received from Jody Williams for the Museum Commission. Are you prepared to make that recommendation?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Jody Williams to the museum board.
Second?
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. The opposed? Thank you. Next up is our honorary commissioner, Mercedes Custer, with the Boys and Girls Club. Good morning.
Good morning, Mercedes. If I could have you come up here and stand in front of the flag and get you all sworn in. I'm going to stand right here. Raise your right hand. Over there, Matt, so you can get a picture of us. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mercedes Custer,
I, Judy Custer,
do swear
do swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and the state of West Virginia,
that I will work hard to fulfill my responsibilities
and I will work hard to fulfill my responsibilities
of the honorary commissioner
and the honorary commissioner
to which I've been appointed.
which I have been appointed.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, thank you very much. We've got a certificate here for you. We're gonna get a picture here in just a little bit. We'll go out front here and get a picture. So you come to us from the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes.
Yeah, so what are some of the things that you like to, your hobbies or things you like to do at the Boys and Girls Club? I know they have lots of different options down there.
One of my hobbies are like writing books.
Oh.
I love writing.
You like writing?
I want to be a writer one day.
Oh, you like fiction, nonfiction? What do you write mostly?
I like novels and romance books and
Oh,
stuff like
that's
that.
good. That's good. Where do you go to school?
Spring Hills.
Spring Mills. Oh, that's right. That's my area. That's good. Like, Spring Mills is nice. That area is growing quickly. So, any of the other commissioners have any questions for Mercedes or?
How often do you get to go to the club? If you live in Spring Mills, how easy is it access to get there?
I go to the club every day,
Do you really? Good for you.
Yeah.
besides on my therapy days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they have a lot of neat stuff to do down there. And that's a wonderful organization. We're lucky and blessed to have those people in Berkeley County and in the city of Martinsburg.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. And if you want to have a seat, we're going to continue our meeting. If you have anything you'd like to add to our meeting, feel free to. Thank you, Mercedes.
Yeah.
And thanks to the Boys and Girls Club for sending you and any of your other friends and colleagues?
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we're kind of almost 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Why don't we just go ahead and take our break now and
Get a picture.
get our picture and then we'll move on. All right, we're just going to take a short break. All right, we're back in session. Next up, we have a 10 o'clock bid opening for laptop computers.
Yes, sir. You have received 9 bids. These are laptop computers for fire apparatus in the county. This is going to be a grant facilitated specifically, or not a grant, I'm sorry, a bid facilitated specifically for the fire board. You have published in the journal and on your website a certification of publications attached. So you have 9 received.
Well,
Very good. All-time record still 20 since I've been on bid.
What was that for?
I don't even remember. It was painful. That's back when I was sitting there and I had to open them all. Yeah, I did not. Might not get it out. Well, you have to expand it. Oh. Jim, you gotta do a better job of cutting that. There you go.
I'm not gonna give you the envelopes, just the, well, I don't have to
the
get that.
first bid is from Cadetco LLC, 18 Ashton Place, Wheeling, West Virginia. $1,994 each, for a total of $65,802.
Envelope inside the envelope.
This is B Prime Tech Incorporated out of Houston, Texas, with a unit price of $1,547.54, with a total price of $54,985.92. Bless you.
Bless you.
Again.
There'll be one more, always 3.
Well, not able to find any information on this particular. And it was submitted from Like Tech Incorporation out of Fremont, California. And we'll have to do a little bit more research on this particular bid. Oh, hold on,
Found it.
found it. The total bid price, $84,117.
Found that one already, so.
This is Hypertech out of Scottsdale, Arizona, with a total bid price of $90,048.27.
Going the wrong way.
Global Science and Technology LLC. Where was it from? They have several different options. Option 1 is $1,373.09. with a total of $45,311.92. Option 2, which is a performance business. The first one is a essential business. The second one is performance business at $2,305.23 with a total of $76,072.67. And option number 3, enterprise performance at a unit price of $3,825.72 at a total price of $126,248.64. I got a few options there. Tech Advantage Computers out of Pensacola, Florida. A total price of $85,800. Onesta Commercial Services, LLC, with a total bid price of $105,390.44. Riverside Technologies, with a total bid for a unit price of $2,331.12 with a total bid of $76,926.96.
Put that right on top.
Various Solutions out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Total price $75,976.56. That's going to conclude the 9 bids that were submitted. They'll be reviewed and recommendations will be coming. Okay. Next up is Access Strategies. Good morning. Good to have you.
Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing? Good morning.
Good.
Hey, I'm Daniel Hall. Most of you know that already. I'm the president of Access Strategies. We have a contract to represent Berkeley County Commission in government affairs activities, dealing with the state and occasionally on the federal level, and some other local issues. And so we've had this contract now for several years. We've been honored and blessed to be partners with you all. We've grateful for the work. We take it very seriously, and we're very proud of the work we've been able to do for Berkeley County. Most of that lies on Summer Barrett, who you all deal with on a regular. She's your main contact, and I'm going to defer this to her to go over the details of all the successes and the things that have happened in the legislature over the last year. And then, of course, we also have our colleague, Amber Perry's here with us, and she assists when needed, and she's a valued member of our team as well. So we're all here open for questions at any point. Before I hand it off to Summer to give an update, do you all have anything for me?
I don't really, Daniel, congratulations once again on opening Vandalia and Queen yesterday. It was very nice. So welcome to Berkeley County. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We love it here.
Yeah. I just like to say quickly, in my past life as a legislator and working under the dome, that, there's a lot of lobbying firms that are running around the Capitol, and some of them are very busy and some of them are not. And some of them take the job more serious than others. And I will say that yourself and Amber and Summer and Access Strategies total package is one of the hardest working lobbying firms, and have some of the best connections with legislators and all the powers to be. You guys work very hard to cultivate those relationships, and I've worked with all of you guys on lots of different, and it never feels fake. It feels like, you guys are always very straight shooters, which, when you learn when you get to the Capitol that the last thing in the world a lobbyist can do is lie to you. because realistically, you know, that really controls everything that they're working on is being completely truthful and 100% honest in their intentions and what they're working on. And Access Strategy works very hard and has a great reputation and works very hard to build those relationships on both sides of the aisle and also the House and the Senate and working with the executive branch. So thank you guys for all your hard work. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do. And just for the public to understand that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and sometimes you just need somebody there squeaking the wheel for you. So, but we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
And it also.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Well, Daniel did the summary, so I'll skip that page. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is go through updates on past year's legislation that every year I tried to update this document with the new fiscal, I guess the revenues generated or saved by each of the bills that we've had success with in the past. So I'm just going to touch really briefly on the ones that have a fiscal impact that we're still adding to each year. Starting with in 2021, SB 270, the fiscal impact, it's always an estimate because we don't have an exact way of determining it, but each year the estimate at the initial passage of the bill was about $200,000 annually. So for now, until we have the ability to better track that, which I'll touch on with this year's legislative victories, the total since the passage of the bill is about approximately $1 million generated for the county. The next one is SB 368, which was, I'm so sorry, I didn't talk about what that was, so let me go back. You guys have the paper, but those watching and listening do not. So it was the taxing of Airbnb and VRBOs. Prior to this legislation, those marketplace facilitators weren't remitting hotel occupancy tax. That was kind of just your standard brick and mortar type of motels. So the bill that was passed in 2021 expanded it to ensure that those marketplace facilitators were also collecting that tax. So sorry for those listening and watching. All right, moving on to Senate Bill 368. This was the redistribution of tipping fees, and it was kind of a scaled in over time. And so this fiscal year, we added approximately $111,700.52. This is the money that comes from the Solid Waste Authority from the state. And it when we worked on the bill, it's a 75%. 25% split. So the 25% is based on population. So we get a larger sum of money because of our population. And as the population increases, that should go up. And then the fire fees ballot referendum this past fiscal year generated $2,497,277. So each year you can see it's increasing slightly over the last 3 fiscal years. Now jumping to the next page. Well, it starts on the first page, HB 4377. This was a bill that had to do with mental hygiene evaluations and hearing delays. But the part that was specific to Berkeley County was the transport of those folks by our sheriff's department. And the bill allowed for them to hire, to kind of contract that out and use another entity. And so this is a savings to the county each year. And in fiscal year 2026, that savings was approximately $40,000, as you'll see there. We're going to jump to the next page. Kind of starts on the regional jail per diem formula, which is HB 3552. But then the totals are on the next page. This past fiscal year, that bill that was put into place, it it put into place a formula, and the formula is now saving you all in the fiscal year 2026 $568,948.45. So I every year I worry. I'm like, is that formula still benefiting the county? And we can see it still is greatly benefiting the county. The next one is the acceleration of the excise tax on property transfers. This was Commissioner Hardy, his bill initially when he was a delegate, and we worked on that, and this was the acceleration of that conversion back to the county. And in the fiscal year 2025-2026, it was approximately $1.6 million to the county. And the next one is under the 2024 legislative session, Senate Bill 530 was the impact fees bill. And obviously we all remember that bill, and it just took effect. Your all's impact fees just took effect in November, and thus far that has generated about close to $3.5 million for the county. And the last thing I was going to touch on, because I don't believe I touched on it last year, was our work on, maybe we did discuss it, but our work on HB 2014. When the original bill passed the House, that had 0 property taxes staying locally. And I know all of you remember, but for the public, we went to war, for lack of better terminology, and we worked really hard initially. That when it passed the Senate, it was 40% remaining in the county, and the ultimate bill was 30%. So I think we obviously don't yet know what that revenue looks like, but as you know, a data center comes here and we start to see that revenue, it will be really interesting to track what that generates for the county. Okay, so now the 2026 legislative session. I'll just go through the bills that we worked on that passed, and if they have a fiscal impact, I'll note that as I go through them. The first one was a really big win for Berkeley County. It was that the STIF bill, as most people refer to it, but it was Senate Bill 749, was the title of it is relating to county economic opportunity development districts. This is the bill that allows for the creation of the STIF district that ultimately will allow the development of the sports complex on the west side of 81. And without this bill and without the ability to keep the sales tax revenue locally, I don't think there would be the sports complex coming to our area. So that's obviously a big win. But I noted on here that the fiscal impact that development site will generate for the county, I think, is even more than I initially really thought about, because obviously the sales tax revenue, we know that, but there's more that's going to come from that development. Hotel motel taxes, there's going to be hotels there. Fire and EMS fees from any of those commercial entities, property tax revenue, whatever goes in there, it's going to be generating revenue for the county. So I think that bill was a really big win for this community and specifically the commission. Next was, there are 2 bills here that I'll talk on that were essentially our efforts to better HB 2014 and to ensure that there are some protections in place for when a data center comes here. So the first is we were able to get an amendment to the legislative rules package to add a line for water protections. I'm sure everyone here agrees that they're probably not to the level that we would want them to be yet, but it did ensure there is at least some level of protection for water. That was within HB 4983. And then next one that has to do with 2014 lied within HB 5168. And this actually, I think Commissioner Hardy realized it, or maybe someone brought it to his attention, but he contacted me and asked me a question about HB 2014. We noticed within HB 2014 that it mentioned municipal fees, that the data centers would have to pay municipal fees like fire and EMS, but it didn't mention specifically county fees. Yeah, I think it was just simply an oversight in the initial bill drafting, but we added to this bill, the 5168, a provision that ensures data centers will pay all of those county fire and EMS fees. So obviously at this point, we just estimate what a fiscal impact could look like. And I think we've determined that a data center like the potential one in Beddington would be about $100,000 in a fire fee. And that's just one piece of it, of course. And then the last one that I'll talk about that passed is relating to the hotel occupancy tax. And this is kind of what I was mentioning with that bill from 2021. Thus far, there's not been a really great way to track what's being generated with that hotel motel tax when it comes as far as the marketplace facilitator. So we always have to use an estimate. But this bill, HB 5065, it ensures that the local hotel taxes that are collected through those online marketplaces like Airbnb, VRBO, Expedia are being sent to the correct county or municipality. It essentially mandates a sort of like geofencing and makes sure that those entities that are booking online, they have to use your 9-digit zip code. So obviously that's the goal, is to ensure that the money that's coming from that is going to the right place, and that hopefully that will allow counties and municipalities to ensure they're getting the right amount, but also to track what's coming in. And then I just wanted to mention a couple bills that we worked on that did not make it across the finish line, because I think they're probably each gives us some, it's something that we should look to work on into the future. Obviously, well, we were working on a 911 fees modernization bill, and I think that bill was very close to passing in the House. It made it to the House floor. It made it out of 2 of the committees in the House, but there was some confusion, and the 911 operators had some questions and concerns. We did have an amendment to fix those concerns, but I think it was a little late in the process. So incorporating their amendment requests and reintroducing that bill is probably a good idea. Of course, the property tax rollback, and then that actually passed out of the Senate and didn't make it out of the House. And then the 2 constitutional amendments that we had been working on also passed the Senate but didn't make it out of the House. The sheriff term limits, constitutional amendment, and then the homestead exemption increase constitutional amendment. So those are 4 bills that we were working on that didn't make it. I think 3 of them passed the Senate and 1 of them almost passed the House. So we were about halfway on both bills. But I think it offers a good starting place for legislation next year. And then the last thing I will note is the total. I try to go through each year and provide an estimate of all of the bills as closely as I can, how much the work that we've done has either saved or generated for the Berkeley County Commission. And at this point, I think it's around 79 million is a safe estimate that our work has generated or saved the county thus far. That's it.
Very good, thank you. And as you just mentioned, the rollback, we typically look at, like our county, a couple years ago, we got hit by the rollback and it cost us a lot of money, and that money is lost forever. But even Morgan County, as small as they are, got hit by the rollback either last year or year before. So it just does not affect larger counties. It affects the smaller counties as well, who have a smaller revenue to start with. So when they lose that, it really does hurt. So that provision, that law needs to be repealed, obviously. And the other thing that really hurts our seniors here is the rate or the values that they put on the homestead exemption. So I would hope that this commission would continue to support those efforts in getting that value raised for our seniors.
I agree on both. And like I said, we got both of those out of one body, but need to work on those in the House. And there will be certainly be some leadership changes in the House, particularly within the Finance Committee, because the current finance chair did not win his reelection. So I think there's some opportunities to work on that in the House.
You guys have anything they'd like to add?
Yeah, I would. So, yeah, I just want to go back through and I want to clarify and reiterate a few things. So the first thing I'd like to say is a lot of times in Charleston, the lobbying firm is not always working on new legislation for counties, but a lot of times they're working in defense. So a lot of times a new legislator or a legislator that has a particular problem in their county that may not affect other counties, has a really good idea of something that they want to do to maybe help their county, but it's not positive for our county. So a lot of times, instead of being on offense, you're really on defense. A lot of the low-hanging fruit has already been taken. So people come up with these elaborate ideas, and sometimes they sound good, but for their county or their surrounding area, but it doesn't really work for our county. So Summer and Daniel and Amber sometimes are just playing defense, and that's very important to have a good defense. So secondly, I'd like to talk about the STIF bill. So, just for the general public, a lot of people, when they hear a new tax district, they think that we're raising the taxes or there's some type of new tax being installed. That is far from the truth. This is think of a donut and a donut hole, and that donut hole is the STIF district, and all the taxes that's collected, the sales tax that's collected in that little donut hole goes back into that donut hole. So if this STIF district was never created, that tax dollars was never going to be there in the first place. It was never money that existed in perpetuity. So it's just money that rolls back into that donut hole to help fund the infrastructure of that area. So it's not creating a new tax. It's just taking the sales tax that would have been created and rolling it back into that district.
That would have gone to the state, all of it.
All that money would have
Yeah,
went to
we'll
the
stay
state.
here,
But
Berkeley.
most likely the project would have never happened. So that tax dollars would have never existed in perpetuity because the project never would have happened. So it needed this STIF district and the TIF district that the county had been put in place, among some other things, to make the project viable. So I just wanted to clarify that. You had talked about there was clarifying amendment into the rules package for the data centers, and I just wanted to clarify, one other thing that was clarified in that was the transfer tax. We were not sure of the sale from the private owners to the private entity, so it's leaving a private owner's hands to a private business's hands of a transfer tax. And, those transfer taxes generate a lot of income that comes back to the county that money used to just go to the general revenue. I mean, Steve brought that to my attention 6 years ago. And that money just went to the general revenue of the state, but now we're able to redirect that money back to the county. It's generated in our county. It's our county tax dollars that's generated from the sale of real estate, and now that money's injected back into our budgets. So there was clarifying in that bill that, that transfer tax from that sale would stay in the county, and it wasn't going to be waived because it was a high-impact data center. Let's see, I think that's the main things I wanted to talk about. I do want to touch on 2014 and the homestead exemption. I do think in 2014, there will be some leadership changes in the Finance Committee on the House side. I'm hopeful that Roger Hanshaw is able to successfully stay as the speaker through the next round. But I don't think, I think in 2014 is going to be revisited by the legislature. And I don't think that the funding mechanism will change. And I don't think that the local control will be restored. But I do think what will happen is there probably will be like some type of an advisory board. There's going to be some more written clarification of exactly what the rules and regulations are and exactly what the state is looking for in data centers, because as in any business, there's good players and there's bad players. And I think the state is going to try to make sure that they clarify exactly what their criteria are, and also put an advisory board in place to make sure that we don't have one person that are making these decisions. And I don't know how the advisory board will be made up. I'm sure it will be appointees of the governor and maybe a senator or whatever, but that remains to be seen. And then I think one of the main things that this commission is concerned about and really wants to continue to try to move forward as is the homestead exemption. Listen, we certainly understand that there are counties that can't afford to raise their homestead exemptions because they just simply cannot afford that. They don't have enough real estate. Fortunately, we're one county that does want to take that ceiling out of it. It's just a straight $20,000. That's the floor, that's the ceiling. Senator Barrett and some others had some ideas of just taking the ceiling out of it and making it permissive. So if a county commission would like to raise its homestead exemption, if it feels that it can afford to raise its homestead exemption to help its senior because of growing home prices, then they have the ability to do that. So I think it's very important for us to continue to try to work to take that ceiling out and make it completely permissive by county commissions if they have the financial ability to do that. So that's another bill that's really key on. And I just want to once again thank you guys for all your hard work. And it's easy to codify. I mean, what you guys do and what you provide for us. And, you know, this commission takes some heat. We take some real heat for the money that we spend for a lobbying firm. But I'm a firm believer, as I said earlier, you need as many voices and as loud of voices as you can. The Capitol gets very crowded and it gets very loud very quick. Things happen in the last 3 weeks very, very quickly, and you need to have someone there advocating for you, and I'll defend that all the time.
You've got some loud voices.
Yes, I know I do. You've yelled at me plenty of times.
I want to clarify the transfer tax, property transfer tax. The state initially was keeping $2.20 per $1,000 of the sale price. And it was first given back on a 10% a year for over a 10-year period. It got accelerated. And this current fiscal year, no, excuse me, the last fiscal year we just ended
Yes.
was the first year that we got the full amount back. The state is not keeping any of that money now. That money is equal to $2.5 to $3 million per year over the last 6 or 7 years. That's what it's averaged out to. So it's been a wonderful addition to our budget, to say the least. A big thing that needs to be considered and that you worked on very hard, Secretary Summer in particular, along with the County Commission Association, was the safety bill. And we backed off of it this past legislative session because of election year, what have you, and agreed to do that. But the year before, we actually got it approved by the Senate on a 25-8 vote to allow the counties to put it on a referendum to impose the 1% sales tax. The County Commission Association has again made that the top priority for this next legislative session. Along second priority is the rollback. And so I think that we as Berkeley County, who usually takes the lead on this stuff, should agree to work hard on both of those issues as well. It's ridiculous that every town and municipality in West Virginia can charge the 1% sales tax and counties cannot. And it would be a game changer for us. It would be guaranteed money as the population grows, it would grow with it. And it would be a source of revenue that would really help dramatically. And it has very little impact on our constituents because most people don't even care about it. I've never heard one complaint about it in the city of Martinsburg. The other thing that's really important when they look at 2014, and I've talked to Senator Barrett, I've talked to Mike Kite, I've talked to our delegation on the data center thing, it's completely ridiculous that West Virginia is giving it away at a 5% salvage rate. And that needs to change. And Loudoun County, Virginia, we met down there, has 205 data centers, and they get it at 60%. And it brings in $800 million a year. Just on the personal property inventory side. That doesn't count the real estate side. And if Loudoun County were in West Virginia based on this current law, instead of $800 million a year, they would be paying $67 million a year. And that's disgraceful to think that we're going to give our land away and our opportunity to generate revenue at that salvage rate. And to me, that should be one of our top priorities this year in the session.
Those were on my list, but I didn't know if we wanted to get into next year's priorities yet.
Well, it's just, if we're going to have them, we need to get the value from them.
Agreed.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Steve?
Nope.
Very good. Thank you, Summer.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for all your hard work. All right, next up is Elizabeth Check, our grants administrator. Good morning.
Good morning. This is for an acceptance of the fiscal year 24 Emergency Management Performance Grant from the Department of Homeland Security through West Virginia Emergency Management Division for the Office of Emergency Management. It was for the calendar year of 2024, and our total award was $94,164. The total project was $188,328. So it's a 50% match reimbursement for operational expenses from their office.
This includes their salaries, correct? Half of their salary is reimbursed by the state?
Yes.
Correct, right. And that's this EMPG grant. Do I have any questions for Elizabeth on this before we move? I mean, I appreciate the state's willingness to help support our Homeland Security office. So, need a motion to accept the grant award.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Mr. Ducey, are you ready? Excuse me? Okay. Good morning, Joy.
Good morning.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Yes. So this is for the HAVA grant. So we are asking for 10 DS300s or to replace what we have. We have DS200s right now. These would not replace everything we have, but 10 would help. Hopefully with data or to get the election centers up and running through the legislature, we might not need to buy more than 10. So we don't want to stretch it too far if we don't need them.
So, because I don't know what these do. What exactly do they do?
They're the tabulator. They're actually what you put your ballot in and it calculates.
Okay.
It's the tabulator.
Okay.
And that's what the HAVA grant is only for tabulation equipment.
This is the newest version of
It's
that,
the
I
newest
assume.
version.
And how many do we currently have total?
Well, we have 80 precincts. So we have, I think, around 100 DS200s. We have extras in case something goes down, that type of thing.
But this is the next iteration of what that technology is, and sure.
It processes faster. At the end of the day, like for early voting and things, sometimes that takes a long time, even at the end of election day, when you have to sit there and it tabulates everything. So it's faster. It also has a lot of capabilities that we think are going to come with security and features that we may be required to do. It will already have that ability.
So are y'all asking for us to do the match, or does the Clerk Petrucci have that in his budget?
So the clerk, it's a 50% match.
Yeah.
So the total cost of the 10 machines is $92,448.
Right.
So then
50-50 match.
50-50.
Yeah. Mhm.
And the clerk will be making that match out of his budget.
Yes.
That makes that vote a whole lot easier. Yeah. I would glad to make that motion.
Yeah, I would second the motion.
Yeah.
At what normal rate do we replace these things? Like if we have almost 100 of them already, like how long did it take us to get that many, and like how many do we get a year, or try to get a year, or any idea on that?
I think 80. I think it was 80. And that was, they just paid it off. So that was like 6 years ago. And their life is around 6 to 8 years. So with this grant, we're just seeking to replace 10 of those.
Right.
So, and then quietly go each year depending on whether or not the voting centers become larger so that we can accommodate more polling places in the voting center. Our precincts are too large for the cap that they put in.
Right. Okay.
So we're hoping that if they enlarge it, then we may only need 10 or maybe 15 of these.
Right.
So then we'd have the 200s in case anything went down with the 300s, so we have replacements.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. It's been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Clerk Petrucci, thank you for your cooperation in acquiring this. Thanks, sir. Chad, you want to go over your state budget revision?
Yes, sir. So what's in front of you is State Budget Revision 1. This is the reappropriation of the unexpended coal severance funds from last year. You're required to complete this every year before the 15th of July to turn into the tax commissioner's office. That was previously forecast at 275,000. It actually came in just a little shy of that at 246,674. So the request is to appropriate 246,674 into Fund 2, account number 298.
And Chad and I discussed this before the meeting today, that I was a little concerned about it, a deduction in the Parks and Rec budget, particularly with, we're going to open up a new park in Inwood in November. But he assured me that that money is going to come out of coal severance, is going to be reduced, but it's going to be replaced from another source. So
Yep.
There won't be I want to clarify that there will not be a deduction of revenue that we committed to give Parks and Rec for the next fiscal year. So I appreciated that very much. So
Very good. So I need a motion to approve the revision number 1, Fund 002.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second?
I'm properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Chad, the elected officials' compensation change that was presented and approved through the legislature this year.
Yes, sir. So as you just said, the legislature approved compensation changes for all elected officials in Berkeley County, for commissioners, county clerk, circuit clerk, assessor, sheriff, and prosecuting attorney. State auditor's office forwarded us this form that you are required to approve, and we have to send back to them to make a part of the record. I consulted with Anthony. This is not you approving salaries. This is just completing the process for you all to add this to the record as a requirement of the state auditor.
So we're over the $2 billion mark in terms of class,
You are at
level
class
1,
yeah.
so in the state, which is, I don't know who else, I guess soon Kanawha County's at that level, and I don't know if any other counties are or not. Mon too? Are they at level 1? Yeah,
Class 1.
class 1, I guess, yeah. Interesting. What I wanted to note was, I'm glad to see that the sheriff is also going to get, instead of $15,000 from the thing, he's going to get 30 now. And that the hardest job in this county, in my mind, is the superintendent of schools, and the second hardest is the Berkeley County Sheriff, who works 24/7, 7 days a week, and has a tremendous responsibility in this county. And with his tax, $15,000 in his past budget, he was making in the low 70s, which is just atrocious. To think that everybody that's a sergeant or above it that works for him is making more money than the sheriff. So an increase in that capacity makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm glad to see that happen because it's justified, to say the least. So
Very good. So need a motion to approve the elected officials' compensation change.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Chad, let's go ahead and discuss this next policy discussion.
Absolutely. So, as you are aware, you've had some folks reach out to discuss with some of these projects that are coming into county, such as data centers, what your review process is going to be. And Brian and Laura have just joined us and thought it was important to begin to have an open dialogue. As you know, these processes with House Bill 2014 are not going to be under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Some of the local partners coming in have expressed an interest to participate either all or in part of these processes. So
Okay, because of the House Bill 2014 that we discussed earlier today, it does not require for the data centers to bring their projects to our Berkeley County Planning Commission. So they're not under the local rules and regulations as any other development would be. However, there may be an opportunity for one of the data centers that they ask about presenting their plans to us for review. So I think that there's probably some difference of opinion of how we should go about that. And this is the time for this discussion. So I know, John, you serve on the Planning Commission. And, you know, we've spoke with staff. We've got their recommendation and their thought process. And so if you'd like to open it up.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, as discussions that we've had, you know, I think that I'm willing for my thought process is I'm willing for this commission to put on this commission's letterhead to Penzance of what we think is best practices that we have learned from Northern Virginia and educating ourselves of what we feel is the best practices for them to do as a commission. I do not feel that there's any value in putting our planning commission and our planners to evaluate their plans, which is to me is we have no say in it. We were told we have no say in this. I'm not really sure what the benefit would be for us to put our planners and our planning commission through either a process where it's a half a planning, where it's just reviewed and it doesn't go through the whole process. I have zero interest in doing that. If they're not going to go through the same planning review as every other industrial or commercial or residential builder does in our county, then I have zero interest in doing that. I really have zero interest in bringing them through our planning process for us to do all of the time and effort to do that, to put our planning commission through that, to put our planners through that, and at the end of the day, they still can do what they want. So I just don't feel that the juice is worth the squeeze. I'm personally, I don't think that that's a direction that we need to go. I think that we can certainly send them a letter from this commission, signed by all the commissioners, saying that this is how we have educated ourselves, this is how we've moved forward, and these are the best practices that we have learned. If those are 10 or 12 things that we think are the best practices, I'm certainly willing to do that. But I would gladly listen to any of the other commissioners' thoughts of where they are on this, but that is my personal opinion. I think this could be some type of move for a cover your hind end type of play, you know, where the proposed data center could say we wanted Berkeley County's input, but they didn't give it to us. But they don't have to. There's no teeth in it. There's nothing. We can tell them what we'd like to done, but there's no teeth in it. So it's really a catch-22, and I, you know, maybe I'm wet behind the ears, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see the benefit in putting our people through that to reap no reward from it. But I do see benefit in this commission saying what we have found to be the best practices, and this is what we recommend. But with that being said, I have talked to our planners, and we are going to develop a data center criteria from what Berkeley County thinks data centers should fall under for our county and what its best practices. Does not mean that any data center in the future will have to use it, but we are going to be prepared. So we're over the next couple months, we're going to start developing that, and we will have a data center set of guidelines and criteria that should be followed through our county regs.
But kind of what you're saying though is why do that if you're not going to review it anyway? And my take is if they're going to pay the full amount that they would otherwise if they had to do it, if the staff has the time to do it and is getting paid to do it, why wouldn't we review it and at least respond to their request? And maybe they'll listen to some of the things we suggest. More so to me, have more impact than a letter from us saying that, hey, we want you to do this, this, and this. It'd have more impact coming from the experts and the professionals in my mind. Now, if it's a staff issue thing, but if you're getting paid to do it, the regular full amount that they normally would pay, would that not justify the time that was invested in it? And I'm just throwing this out for discussion in my mind. I just think it sends a bad message if we say, no, we're not interested. That's just my personal take.
I mean, is it a waste of time? Is it not a waste of time? These guys have to spend the time to do it for it not to be read back. I kind of agree with what he's saying with at least tell them what our expectations are and what we would expect of them. But to make these guys do a full review of something that's just going to be thrown in the trash, basically. I don't know if that's.
If they're getting paid to do it, though, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but also you're gonna put your staff through that review, and then you're gonna put your planning commission through that. And you're gonna have a mob scene in here when that comes up and when it comes through, and because we're gonna do the full process. We're not gonna do some half process where, they want us to review it, but they don't want anything on paper, they don't want it documented. We're not gonna do that. They're gonna go through the same process as everybody else would go through. Now your planning commission, who are volunteers, are gonna be up here, and this room is gonna be a zoo.
It wouldn't have to go through the planning commission. Let the staff review it, get paid to do it, and make recommendations. That's all I'm saying.
I absolutely would disagree 100% that you're going to do anything special for Penzance or anything special for a data center that any other commercial or industrial developer would have to do. Now you're giving them some kind of special treatment. I don't care if they're paying for it.
Because it's being created by the state of West Virginia legislature that's caused this. So it's a special category in my mind. We can't tell them what to do.
Sure.
If they're asking us for suggestions, why wouldn't we do it?
And I'm more than glad to give them suggestions written on Berkeley County Commission letterhead.
Well, I just think we're missing the boat.
Commissioner Whitaker, you have anything to add?
I'm of the opinion that, if they don't have to follow the rules because the state gave them to them, I don't want to subject our planning commission or our office to ridicule. I mean, it's, I understand, where Steve's coming from, but again, the state's created this for us, and, we're going to have to deal with it sooner or later, but I believe that the powers to be, meaning Charleston or the state, should have their own engineers look at it, have them do the requirements that we do.
Well, I originally was in favor of reviewing the plans because it finally would give us an opportunity to make those recommendations, even though they did not have to be followed. But after speaking with staff over the last 2 weeks about this, and a discussion that we've had here and there, I tend to agree with John that if we can provide Penzance and any other developer with letters of recommendation that we would like to see done, knowing full well that the state of West Virginia has total control, I think that we do not want to pass up the opportunity to protect the neighbors. And I think that this is our chance to be able to do that. I am not in favor of treating this project or any other project different than we do the other projects. Every developer in this county that comes in here has a set of rules to follow, and that's how they operate. And for our staff to just do a courtesy review of plans to be marked up, and then possibility of being told we're not doing that, I think is a waste of their time and effort. So but I do not want to lose the opportunity to make these recommendations of best practices that we've learned throughout this issue, this discussion. So that's where I'm at. And also, our stormwater ordinance needs to be adhered to. That's something, not only the setbacks, the proper setbacks to protect the neighbors from the noise and the light pollution, but then also the stormwater management ordinance to try and protect the neighborhood from flooding, as we've seen in another part of the state, and the design of the equipment on site, the location of particularly the generators. So those are some things that I think that we can do without stepping out of what we normally do. If you want to go through the process, then bring it through the process. Otherwise, and I know that staff is not in favor of doing it, and I support that. I don't know if we need a motion on that or a consensus. Open to suggestions.
We don't need to take a vote. We're just having a discussion today with.
Right.
I think we're missing the boat.
Well, I think
How
that,
you tell people what to do with stormwater and all when you don't even talk to them or review it? I don't know, I don't get what you're saying, Jim. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're willing to listen to what we have to say, and we tell them what we would normally do, maybe they'll do it. Otherwise, you're just basically forfeiting every consideration at all.
I don't believe that they're willing to listen to what we want to do. I think what they're willing,
They're the ones that come to us and said this.
right, because they're in a cover your ass moment, because
Okay.
they want to say, we came to Berkeley County and we asked them what they wanted, and we don't have to do what they want. Listen, either you're in or you're out. The state has made that decision for us. The state has taken the county completely out of it. Now you have the company that's coming to us and saying, oh, we want to hear what you have to say, but we don't have to listen to it. So they're looking for a moment to say, we were a good player, we went to the county, we asked the county what they thought, but they're still under the rule of the state. All of their decisions are made at the state level through the DEP, all the stormwater stuff, everything is made at the state level. So either you're in or you're out. They have dealt us out, so we are out. We can give them our recommendations of what this commission would like to say, but I don't see any benefit in then us doing one, which I think is probably illegal. I don't think that we could even do a partial review. I don't think that to be even legal. What do we do when the next developer comes to us and says, we want to do it? We'll pay you, we'll do a partial review, but we don't want to have the public hearings. We don't want to go through the planning process. We don't want to do all 7 steps. We just want to do 3 steps. And I am not willing to be involved in that in any way. And I'm still not willing to be, if they want to do all the steps and go through all the planning, and at the end, they still make their own decisions, and those decisions are made at the state level. So I reiterate, either we're all in or we're all out. The state has dealt us out. I'm more than willing to make, a recommendation from the county commission of these commissioners of what we've done. I'm not willing to put the planning department and our planning commission through that to reap no benefit at the end. And that's my thought process. I have taken more tongue lashings and I have been beat up more over these data centers than I have in my entire political career over anything, and I've had nothing to do with them. I had nothing to do with this. And I've taken more, behind whippings because of these data centers that I've had nothing to do with. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit in here and put my planning commission, because those people are all volunteers. I'm not going to sit here and put the planning commission through that to reap no benefits from it. That's what I see. I just see zero benefit from it. I think the same benefit from us putting a letter together from us 5 commissioners stating that what we think is the best practices for Berkeley County from what we've learned from other areas is just as effective as if we went through the whole planning process, and I refuse to go through partial planning process.
Well, I'll put it this way, who's going to draft that letter? We certainly aren't in the position to do it professionally and have the understanding to do it. It's going to have to be done by staff, and then we sign off on it.
We have legal counsel.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
and I
what
think,
needs to happen.
yeah, I think
So it
that,
needs to be done that way.
And all 5 of us can review it before we sign it.
I think that with input from staff, input from this commission, and our legal folks, will put a very nice letter together stating our expectations and what we would like to see done in Berkeley County. That's where I'm at.
I think that's just as effective as doing the other way and leaving an open door for other people to say, well, they didn't do it, we don't have to do it, type of situation.
All right. Good. Next up, Tim Zaya. Good morning, sir. Good.
Thank goodness.
We've been providing services to Jefferson County for some time now, and
Has it been a year yet or over? I guess it has. A couple years yet? Where we at, a year and a half? Year? I don't remember when
Probably
it
a little better
started.
than a year.
It was,
Yeah, a little longer than a year.
yeah,
now.
a little better than a year now. I think we officially started providing services to them April of 25. That sound right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going beautifully. Their plan is to, their plan, subject to change, of course, is to open their doors on their own day report center July 1, 2027. But when we started providing services to them, we hired a few staff members with the agreement that when they're ready to open their doors, those staff would transfer down. It was 2 case managers and a driver. We've realized that it will be much more helpful and beneficial to them if that driver position became a peer recovery coach position. A peer recovery coach can serve a variety of purposes for them. They can assist with drug screening. They can assist with transportation like a driver does. They can wear more hats than just a driver will. So the person that occupied the driver position that was for Jefferson County recently resigned. He got a job with Department of Transportation. So that position is currently vacant. The county administrator down there in Jefferson County, Eddie Benitez, requested that we change that position from a driver to a peer recovery coach position that can do what I just mentioned. They cover the cost of these positions. It's no money out of Berkeley County's pockets. I invoice them on a monthly basis for the services we're providing. But I'm here to request that position be reclassified from driver. Chad has the exact numbers. Base salary, I think, is 36 for a driver, but change that to a peer recovery coach position at 43,135.
Are you still pleased with the way this has worked out and is working out? I mean, is the cooperation from them and all has gone well for you?
It's going perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We get a lot of referrals from Jefferson County. They're utilizing our services. We get.
And they're paying us for
Oh, yeah.
everything that you're billing them for to
Yep.
Provide these services. So.
Yep. We're providing services to Jefferson County at their expense.
Yeah. And you're pleased at this point?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you're making this recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And this person will be a peer recovery coach and a driver?
So peer recovery coaches, they assist with other things. Driving is one. They'll help with transportation here and there. They'll help with drug screening. A driver really just drives.
Right.
So this will help them out down the road once
And
they have this person.
Just for clarification, the duties of driving already exists in the current job classification and job description of the peer recovery coach. So it's not an additional duty to the job of the peer recovery coach. They're already complete.
All right, need a motion to approve the reclassification of a day report center driver to a peer recovery coach.
So moved.
Second?
And properly moved in second. Is there any further discussion? Vote aye.
Aye.
Let's have it.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
All right. We do have need for executive session for real estate. But before we do, is there any items from the public?
Mr. President, I have one thing I'd like to talk about before we go into executive session. So there was an announcement made yesterday. There was some concerns put out before this announcement about clients at the Bethany House. The Bethany House, and then there was a statement that was put out by the powers to be that control Bethany House, and the name of that organization eludes me, I'm sorry. It's a community outreach, but Bethany House is under financial duress. They have lived and died on funding from the state for a long time. A couple years ago, the way the funding was directed from the state was changed. It went from one organization to basically a coalition. That funding was redirected to another organization in Jefferson County, and so their funding has been cut in half. This commission was able to help them out last year with some funding, but let it be known that the Bethany House is the only homeless shelter in Berkeley County where women with children can go. They've had to cut back. They are no longer providing meals. The people who live in Bethany House have to leave at 7 in the morning and are not permitted to come back into the facility until 7 at night. So basically have a place to sleep. I don't know what moving forward can be done with all of the different coalitions, the county government, state government, and the city government. But I think that it's imperative that organizations come together and try to figure this out. I have tried to work with Bethany House in the past with some ideas. I felt like I hit some roadblocks there. I'm not personally saying anything bad about anybody there, but I think that there is a better route forward. I think that there are things that can be done with community buy-in and maybe enlarging their organization and their outreach. But I would like for this commission, I would like for the city government and our representatives from state government, our delegates and our senators to start thinking about putting together a plan, coalition, a formed meeting that we can try to figure out how we can better serve the female homeless population that have children in Berkeley County. We have a very large men's shelter that is run by a wonderful organization, has great leadership. They are privately funded. They make a lot of their own money and they fund themselves very well. I think we need to bring those people on board, but I think that this commission and others need to try to have a collective group and a collective solution to trying to figure this out. Thank you, Mr. President.
I agree. It's a real dilemma in our county right now.
It really is. It's the only place possible. No, we have EPIC,
We
which is.
need a rescue mission for women like we have for men.
We do have EPIC, which is a shelter for battered women, but Bethany House is the only place for homeless women with children. And I have toured that facility, and it is a very tight facility. There's a lot of people living in very close quarters, and I think as a community we can do better, and we should do better. So, thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay. Need a motion to go into executive session
Mr. President, I move that we go into executive session.
For real estate matters.
for real estate. Yes, sir. Okay, we're back in session. There'll be no action taken. Need a motion or recess.
Mr. President, I move that we recess.
We are in recess.